Hello, hello, hello. What ho! Welcome back to another exciting adventure of mustachioed reactions on Radio Free Anarchy. I'm your host, Travel Mateus. Just a brief introduction. I have created 7 to 10 other YouTube channels in an attempt to find my niche, and I still haven't found what I'm looking for. So, what I decided to do with Radio Free Anarchy is to create Radio Free Anarchy as the hub, and then to then just translate or transfer all of the channel's content to a playlist. So right now, as this movie is playing through, we'll get to it. I'm just using that as a distracting filler right now, but I was encouraged by a friend of mine who is a content creator on YouTube as well, and he made a suggestion uh that I don't do what I am doing by having everything be at the hub. And while I can appreciate his suggestion, to me it was just the natural flow of trying to figure out, okay, like I have this idea, I have this idea, I have this idea, I have this idea, and instead of having 10 different channels, which I did, and I would have to make one for Rethinking Revelation, I'd have to make one for Red Hen Radio, and I had to have to make one for Etherband Photography, I'd have to make one for The Plain Truth. That's five already. Those are five different channels. So I just, it is what it is, it is what it is. And this is going to be a breakdown of where I am at currently in thinking about this movie right now. This movie is just, in my opinion, this generation's Matrix. All right, so this is going to be my breakdown step by step as far as I can control myself and limit my narration to about 10 minutes. This is a heavy spoiler alert. If you have not watched this movie, first of all, what the Smurf is wrong with you? It's on Netflix right now. Good luck. Have fun. Don't die. This movie is this generation's Matrix, which is what I mean by a curtain pull on reality. First of all, your new reality. You see this right here? Your new reality. And then we come down to the norms. Look at all the norms. These are the normals. These are the NPCs, right? Look at all the NPCs flicking through their phones. Good luck, have fun, don't die is a metaphor. It is a mythological story. And the way that it is presented is in a typical time travel fashion where the man from the future, who's Sam Rockwell is his character, he is the man from the future. He is now just so he just shows up. He walks in from off like he's just looking like with the like what? He's taking a leak. He looks like he could have just crawled out from underneath an overpass after sleeping out in the rain all night long, and he's homeless. In fact, one of the lines is, "You look homeless." Um, but this is not a time travel movie. That is the facade. That is the facade of mythos. If you read a myth literally, you are misreading the medium. Okay? If a medium is written or presented or created in a certain way, which regulates and syncopates and presents its story in a way that is not immediately apparent, if you look at the details of the story as if it is the true meaning behind the story, you're going to miss the forest for the trees. You have to realize that the storyline of time travel, the setting in the diner, the just all of the story itself is not the meaning. It's kind of like what the Jesus seminar is about in terms of trying to figure out whether or not Jesus was historical or whether or not it's just written as if he were historical, because those two ways of looking at the story are completely different. If you look at this as if it's just another story about dystopian, um, cataclysmic destruction in the future, things just go horribly wrong and it's all the computer's fault. If you look at that part of the storyline as if it's the point of the movie, you're going to miss the deeper meanings of the movie, which is encoded in the dialogue. It's encoded in the script. It's written into the script. If you pay attention to the script, you will hear the story that is deeper within than what you're seeing on the screen. So when we look at The Matrix or we look at The Truman Show, we very often aren't ready for the curtain pull within the movie because we're distracted by the movie itself. We think that the movie is just a point of entertainment rather than, if you looked at the Last Supper painting by Leonardo da Vinci, if you think that it is simply a depiction of Jesus and his 12 disciples on the Last Supper and this, that, and the other, you're going to be able to see, oh, I can see this character, this. But if it is a hieroglyphic, right? If it is a holy writing in pictorial form, that's what a hieroglyphic is, right? It's a picture of an aspect of reality. But if we don't understand how it depicts reality, we're going to misunderstand the depiction. Okay? All of this is smoke and mirrors. This whole storyline is smoke and mirrors. The thing that I was going to say about the Jesus seminar was that the language of the kernel and the husk, or the meat and the shell. If you take a nut and you just look at the nut, it doesn't look like it's edible. But you crack the nut open, you remove the protective layer, you then expose the meat within, and then you can eat that meat. But you can't eat the meat, you can't get to the meat unless you discard the outside layer that is actually just window dressing. It's a facade. You can't read Aesop's fables literally. You can't read Grimm's fairy tales literally. You can't listen to children's nursery rhymes literally. So the religious aspect of what I'm trying to point out is that in order to find out who Jesus really was, you have to get rid of all of the stuff that is not really about him, which is like, who makes that decision? The Jesus seminar or the PCA or the CREC or the Roman Catholic Church or the whatever, like, who decides how to read the Bible? Who decides how to watch a movie? The producer has a vision. This is what I want. The director then says that I'm going to make this happen. This is how, and then the sound, and then all it, and it all is just this working organism of art. And art is all about truth, and truth is all about subjectivity because the truth is stranger than fiction, and yet we don't realize that the fiction that we are watching contains truth. I'm going to wrap this up right now and say I'm trying to be as contained as possible and not go too crazy off in different directions. But this is deep, this is important, and I'm just simply trying to that are crumbs of existence, crumbs of existence that are intended to awaken the sleepers in all of us. I mean, if you think about not being a photographer, if you think about not having a hobby of photographing still life or photographing landscapes or whatever, and then you go to a presentation on photography, and then you think, wow, that sounds interesting, and then you start to do that thing, that's what a movie is supposed to do. The movie is supposed to trigger within you an awareness of feeling the void and knowing that there's a way to fill it, if that makes any sense. Let me know if that makes any sense. Please leave your comments below. I'm going to wrap this up 10-minute sections. I'm going to jump into the next one and just see where this goes. Um, Please, if you are listening right now at this point, make sure you hit that Fonzarelli, smash that like, leave me a comment. Pay it forward by sharing this content with other people who enjoy thinking about these things, talking about spirituality, talking about existence, meaning, and being. And primarily and first of all, if you have not yet subscribed, please make sure you do that. And then also hit the bell notification because whenever I go live or whenever I upload new content, you will be notified. And then you can pay it forward by clicking on the video, liking the video, hitting that Fonzarelli, leaving a comment, and then sharing the content with others. I have been your host, Travel Mateus. Until next time.